Hey Bookwormies, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another podcast sit-down video, and today's a bit more of a real talk. It's like one that's gonna be like, it's gonna make some people uncomfortable, some people are gonna be like, you're complaining here. And so if this is not for you, I'd click out right now, okay? Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna start like being a bit more honest. I am a very, very tiny book creator, so I don't know exactly how it feels, but I've been doing some research, and I wanted to talk today about BookTok, BookTube, Bookstagram, pretty much the book and social media world in the influencer side of you. I'm not a professional influencer. I'm saying that right now. I'm just here saying how it may feel when you're creating content about a hobby of yours. It could be reading, it could be anything at all, okay? Because honestly, there are sorts of pressure that you get when it comes from BookTok, BookTube, Bookstagram, from the FOMO, the numbers, the consumerism, the way reading starts to feel more like a job rather than a hobby when you kind of turn it into one when you start creating content about it. Because at least for me, reading used to be something like, oh, I'd find 5 minutes, let's read. But now it's like I have this little like invisible audience all the time. I always feel like I have an expectation to turn something into content and make it good content, which some videos for the past few weeks have not been the best. So I wanted to talk a bit about that. So pretty much this video is just going to be me, raw, honest, and just unpacking everything that just happens, at least I think, in the influencer side. I'm not saying it's all bad, but we're going to be talking about the dark side mainly today. So pack it in. Okay, grab your drinks, mine is just water, and let's get into it. First of all, we're going to start with FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. I don't know if anybody gets this, but for me, I get big FOMO. Not even having to do with book talk and stuff, just FOMO in general, I always get. And it's pretty much a thing that kind of shapes what we read. Because, like, you see people reading a certain book that's blown up recently. Like, if I take right now, I've been seeing Alchemized a bunch. And so it's kind of like a FOMO where I'm like, I feel like this weird pressure that I have to read it now. Not later, not when I'm in the mood for it, but now. Why I'm reading Alchemized, that does not have to do with this, okay? It is a bit of a FOMO moment, but also I've been really excited to read it. But sometimes it's like, you see the book on the internet and you're like, you feel pressure to read it. And it's not even like it's not even about liking the book, it's just not wanting to feel left out of the book immediately and what everybody's been saying. And so many people are having these book rants, and then you're like, I can't even listen to them because I'm scared they're gonna say spoiler or some shit. Because, like, if you're a reader on the internet that just like consumes book content, that conversation is going to be everywhere. It's going to be on your feed, on your For You page, on your in the comment sections, and it's like easy to confuse being part of the of the trend and being part of the community. It's like sometimes I'll be like, I'll see my TBR, my mental one or my physical one or my digital one. It's filled with all kinds of hyped books I didn't choose for myself. I just chose them because billions of people have read it and they're like, oh yeah, this is an amazing book, but I've been seeing some bad shit about it, but I want to put it away because I want to read it because it's hyped. I don't want to feel left out. I want to see why everybody's been like, yes, this is the book of the year, or they'll be like, ugh, this is the worst book I've ever seen. That's why Quicksilver's still on my TBR, even though I've seen very mixed reviews about it, you know? So honestly, they appear in my TBR not because I chose. They just kind of like get in there because I keep seeing about them, hearing about them, and people just like cry over the endings or whatever. And also when people start saying like it's a must read, so I'm like, oh yeah, no, I feel a pressure to read this book because somebody has said it somewhere on the internet, and that's because and I need to read it at a certain point in time. It's sometimes not even just like, oh, I just want to at some point read this book. I need to. No, it's like you need to join in right when the hype train is leaving, because if you don't catch that bus, you feel like you're missing out on it. And because but I feel like that's kind of wild, because reading should not have a schedule. It should not have it should not be like, oh yeah, this is popular, I'm gonna read that. It's supposed to be slow and at your pace, and you're supposed to read what you want to in the moment. Like, let's say you've been seeing this romance that's super, super popular, but you don't really read romances. You're also not really in the mood one. You're in the mood for a thriller, something gory. But no, right now, a very cutesy romance, and it's very popular, so now you feel like you have to read it. And also, BookTok makes it so fast. Like, you will blink and they'll already be on the next book. Like Alchemized, 2-3 weeks, now we have a different one. And then next week we have another one. And then next week, a new book. It's just like you can't catch up. It's like you have to read these books, and then maybe books that you've been wanting to read for months upon end, and you're finally in the mood for them because maybe you wanted to read them in fall, perhaps. Then now you're like, oh no, I have to put it off because I have to get onto this hype train while it's still here. And so yeah, FOMO reading is a real thing. At least for me it is. It's exhausting, and sometimes you're like, I'll decide to read something not because I want it, because I feel like I have to. I try not to do that anymore. I try to just let myself read what I want to read, but I've been seeing Alchemist everywhere. I had to want to jump onto that. But I didn't jump right onto the hype train. I waited a few weeks, so I don't think it counts. I don't know. But FOMO is a real thing, and at least I'm like, I feel pressure for a tiny second, and then I'm jumping into that hype train, no matter what. It not even has to do with reading, it's just anything. Next, content reading versus hobby reading. This is thing more influencer, because FOMO, I feel like everybody can feel that. It can happen with anything. But content reading and hobby reading, I feel like it also happens a lot of times for influencers. Because there's this thing, content reading, which is something that's like, there's a thing that's creeping in on you, saying, oh yeah, you need to film this. You want to read this? Make it into a video. It needs to be interesting. It needs to be catchy. It needs to be, like, people need to be wanting to read that. But then reading for yourself versus reading for your channel are very different things. Because when you're reading for the content, it's like somebody's always whispering you have to read this. But also, you have to be able to read it in less than a week because we need to film this video because this is now the new hyped book or whatever. And so it's just because, like, it's less about the story itself. It's just, you're looking at how it will look in the camera, how people will react to it. Will they enjoy it? Blah, 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 blah. And that's where the burnout starts, because now a hobby that's used to be your escape, something that you go into when you're maybe having a bad day, and now you just want to escape reality and go into this secret world of yours. It doesn't become an escape. It becomes a deadline. It becomes something that you have to do, and sometimes you can't even choose it. And honestly, I feel like this doesn't even have to do with reading. It can be with any hobby that you turn into a business or anything like that, or content. Like, if you let me think of something. Like, let's say you really like making DIY things, so you decide to start a business for it. So now it's less about, oh yeah, I feel like making a cute little trinket of some kind. But no, you're getting, like, orders for something you don't feel like doing in the moment. So now you're like, oh yeah, I have to make this. I can't take a second and breathe and do my own thing. No, I have to take what people want, what the audience wants. And that's just not the best. It's like with crocheting. Same idea. Like, when you now start to feel pressured to post projects that people will find interesting, something that's new, something that's more, like, elegant or more intricate. Well, deep down, you just want to make a simple sweater. It just always happens. It's just like, you're always picking it up because it's a safe bet for a vlog or a thumbnail. And I think that's what disconnects it from your reading for enjoyment and what you should have to read. And honestly, that is where, like, you kind of start to lose the spark. At least I did, like, a few months back. Like, I think it's because of summer break. I was like, oh my god, I have summer break. Now I can post twice a week for you guys. Because during the school year, I'm only going to be posting once a week. Nobody should expect more than that. Sometimes, like, right now, my schedule's really whack, so I've been posting maybe every 9 days or some shit like that. Like, I don't have exact posting schedule. I never posted it up. But in my head, it's always once a week during school season. But outside of school season, I'm always like, oh, I have to post more. And I think that's why I kind of got a burnout, because I'm like, oh yeah, this book is really online, so now I should post this. And then, oh, I have to read extra fast because I need to film 2 vlogs in this week. And shit like that. And so it just starts, like, pressuring me to read a certain amount and reading for the content, less for myself. So, yeah. And that honestly that mindset really kills a lot of, like, things, and it can really lead to a reading slump, which happened to me, or, like, I just stopped enjoying reading. Next, we have the pressure of numbers, okay? So, numbers are everywhere. We know that. There are in Goodreads challenges, Storygraph stats, so I don't use Storygraph, but I've heard of it. Reading goal trackers. We literally, like, with these Goodreads goals and all of these things, we turn something that's just a nice activity to escape reality, and we turn it into a challenge. We turn it into a performance. It's not just about the public things. It's just, like, even privately, we're like, oh my god, I've only read this many books. I'm fucked. Like, no, you should read how many you want to, because it's just so many on the internet. It's like, people say, like, oh, I've read 30 books this month, and then now you feel an inclination to read that many. And I'm going to say, I'm a fast reader, so I've read, like, quite a few books, like, these past few months. I'm not saying that, like, I'm one of those people that's super slow. I'm not. I can say that right away. So, like, I've probably put pressure on you guys sometimes, too, where I'm like, well, I don't know, unless you guys don't feel it, of, like, reading a certain amount of books. But because of that kind of also killed me. Because then I felt like, I saw my Goodreads goals, and I'm like, I was hoping that I would finish the school by June, and I'm still reading in June. And now that I finished the challenge, I'm like the numbers are going by so slow. So, like, it just kills me, and I feel like I need to read faster, I need to read a certain amount of books, and that just kills so much. And the love starts to feel more like an assignment. It's like, and it just, the numbers really fucks up a lot of things. With everything, that is just something that just, like, kills a lot of things, and it just causes you to less enjoy the reading and more just be forced to read fast just so you can get to a certain amount of books per month. And don't even get me started on the DNFs, because, at least for me, it's like, the guilt of DNFing a book is, like, I feel such a guilt for DNFing it, because I'm like, I should be finishing this book, like, because first of all, it messes up the stats. With a DNF, do I count it as I read a book or not? I count it as a book, because I feel like I wasted my time on trying to read it. I should at least count it into my challenge, even though I didn't read the full 500 pages or whatever. But it just feels like DNFing of books, kind of like in my mentality, it makes me think, oh my god, I'm such a failure. I can't even finish this fucking book. I pride myself on reading, but I can't even finish a book I don't even like. So for me, that's why, like, it's just, like, shows, like, here's what I accomplished, but also here's what I didn't. And it just kind of feels like I'm grading myself so backwards, because when you chase the numbers, you read faster and connect less to the story. And you move through books like they're a task, rather than an experience and an escape from reality. DNFing just fucks that all up, too. So, yeah. That is another part. That, at least, like, I don't know. I feel like this can be for anybody. It's not even for influencers. It's just any, like, I don't know if anybody really feels this, but at least this is my personal experience where I feel like numbers just cause so much stress. At least for me, in my opinion, and DNFing same way. Like, I DNF books. Don't think of this wrongly. Like, I do DNF some books, but I just feel so guilty of DNFing them. Like, dude, I couldn't even finish a 200-page book because I was bored of it. Like, it just annoys me so much. This next part, which is book habits, like buying habits, and consumerism. And I feel like this also is for people that consume book content and for the influencers. It's both. Okay? Because book buying is something that is very scary. I don't know how to categorize it, but it's just like, I used to go, maybe like, or onto Amazon or wherever I buy it, whenever, every few months, and I'd buy like 1 or 2 books, and like they'd be on my shelf. I still have a few I haven't read yet, also, guys, so shh. But and I would read them, and then I would go and get a couple more a few months later. But now with all these book hauls that people do, and these unboxings, and these special editions that they buy, it's like I can't even they've normalized that owning an entire bookshelf of unread books is normal. And, like, here I am with, 15 books that I haven't read, and I feel guilty because I'm like, I feel like I should buy more. I feel like I should do this. This is honestly a thing of its own. There's reading books that is a hobby, and then there's buying books. It's a whole new separate thing. And it's just, like, I feel guilty because, I think, like, now, oh, I need to buy all these, and I'm not buying enough, and I feel like I don't have enough books on my shelf, or, like, if I do buy a lot, I'm like, oh my god, I'm wasting so much money. And I get that hit of excitement when I'm buying something new, whether it's just, like, for the vibes, or for the pretty cover, or for whatever. And it just sits on my shelf, because 5 new books came out, and I have to buy them now. So, yeah, and it also starts to become more about the collecting, and less about the reading, which I will say the truth, I love collecting books. Like, I don't have a lot, I don't have any, like, the only special edition I have is my Shatter Me one, and that was because I found it, and I was like, oh, wait, this costs less than I thought it did, so I'm gonna buy it. But, yeah, I don't know, it just, the sprayed edges and matching sets and the exclusive dust jackets just kind of ruin sometimes, because, like, they're aesthetic, they're beautiful, I will not be against it, but sometimes I feel like we're curating a display of, like, oh, I have all these books and I love them, blah blah blah, but I'm not actually, I'm just buying them because they look pretty, like, I'm buying it for the display rather than the story that's inside of them. And, like, there's also, like, the hierarchy of, like, buying a lot of books means that you're a huge reader, and that, like, if you're not buying that many books, then you're probably not that big into reading. No, I just read on my Kindle more, and I don't have the money to spend on 1 billion books a month. So, yeah. And also, it's like, people who can't afford or don't want that level of collecting feel less bookish, which is honestly ridiculous, because at the end of the day, you read the books for the enjoyment. You don't buy the books. Like, it's just, like, it's not about owning them. It's about experiencing the story itself. I don't know if that made sense. So, yeah. Okay, then there's obviously the comparison and identity online. And I feel like this doesn't even have to do with bookish. It's just honestly any content that you consume. Because it's the comparison. It's like, it's the quiet and most damaging part of social media itself. It's like you see other creators reading 150 books a year, filming, like, aesthetic vlogs with these perfect setups, and reviewing every single new release, but also managing to read another 500 books in that same month. And you start to feel like you're just failing because you're not doing the same. But the thing is, we're comparing ourselves to highlights. We see these organized shelves. We see these reading updates, these cozy vlogs. Not where, like, somebody does not read a single page. Not the burnouts, not the pressure, or the I don't even want to pick up a book moment. It's like when you tie your identity to your productivity. Like, I'm a book person, so I need to always be reading. And I feel like that's so for me, because I say I'm a book person, so now I feel like every day I have to hit a certain amount of books I've read, or pages, or whatever. And it just ties so much, and I start to lose sight of who I am outside of that. Because I'm not just a book person, I'm also somebody who likes to crochet. I'm also, like, somebody that likes to consume YouTube content. I'm also somebody that likes to dance. I'm also this and that. And, like, sometimes you just need to exist, even if you don't touch a book for a week or for a month. So what I'm trying to say is, just because you are a book person doesn't mean you can't have other hobbies or other things you enjoy. Just because you call yourself a book person doesn't mean that's your only identity. You are so more than that. Okay, now I feel like we should step out of all of this negativity, because this whole video is just, oh my god, they're doing this, so, blah, blah, blah. But I want to talk about the good parts, because there are good parts to the bookish community. The bookish community has brought so many people together. They have created something amazing. The BookTube, the BookTok community, the Bookstagram community. It's a global space where people care about stories and they talk about them. Because I was younger, I felt like reading was, like, it was popular in some stages, but it wasn't exciting. You didn't see it on every corner. Not a lot of people you'd met, they'd probably be like, what is reading? I'd rather watch a movie. Like, you see, but like nobody really talked that much about books. Now I can post a video and find people that, like, a bunch of people that just read the same thing and feel the same way, and it's just incredible because it joins such a huge community of people around the world. And the variety for the books we have now is unreal, because earlier, like, maybe if you wanted a certain type of book, you would have to go search for it, and you'd have to, like, maybe you'd find 1 or 2 books that give what you are wanting. But now you have such a variety of books, such a variety of authors, such a variety of writing styles and plots and world buildings, and it's just so cool. We've seen so many diverse authors, more indie books that are getting, like, recognition, when before they would just sit in a bookshelf and maybe 1 or 2 people would pick it up. And more people are, like, discovering genres that they never would have tried otherwise. Like, I would have never thought that I would read a memoir or a literary fiction, but now I can totally see myself trying and reading a few, because it just brings so many people together. And if somebody told me a few years ago that, like, reading vloggers would be trending, people would talk about books a lot everywhere, that I would see it along, I would be like, ha, funny, I'm not even reading that much then. Like, it would be crazy. But here and now, we see people fangirling over things. There's, like, these big bookish conventions. People are annotating, making memes out of books, and, like, it's just so beautiful. And also, there's always the creative side of it, where people design their bookshelves like art. They make it so beautiful. Like, before I was talking about, like, people are just making, like, they're just going for the aesthetic in their videos, but, like, also, it's just bringing so many people together, where they're bringing the art, where people are just putting, like, skits, making skits out of, like, bookish, like, a scene in a book, which is so fun to see all around the world. It is so funny. And seeing people just, like, even, like, making their own sprayed edge, or, like, bedazzling books, or, I don't know, like, bookbinding. It's so fun seeing all these new creative side, and where people are just pouring, maybe, like, they're, like, connecting a different hobby to this one, making it into something so artistic. And yes, our community is chaotic. Yes, it has its dark side, I could say, but it's just so heartwarming seeing so many people connect over all these kinds of, like, just over a shared hobby. And it's just a reminder that there are, like, a million people around the world that are sharing their love for stories and their love for escaping the world and connecting over fiction that feels real. So yeah, now we just need to find that balance again. And that's the last part I really wanted to talk about, because for me, it's about setting small boundaries, especially if you're an influencer or something, or if you just post bookish content from time to time, which is me. And sometimes you need to just set small boundaries and unlearn the thing where, like, everything needs to be content, because it doesn't need to be. Everything you read does not need to be on a video. You can read books for yourself and not film it. Maybe they'll be in a reading wrap-up. That book might be there, which I do sometimes. I have videos where, like, I have times where I read books at my own pace without a camera in front of me, and later on in the reading wrap-ups, I talk about them, and it's just like offline reading. That's what I would call it. Books that I would maybe mention online very little. There's no vlogs, no big updates, no huge reviews and stuff like that. It just helps me reconnect to reading as something private, something of my own, and also I want to sort of like not chase trends for the FOMO and all of that, because sometimes I chase these trends, these specific books that everybody's reading, like, unless they genuinely excite me, like most do though, I don't know, almost all of them do that to me, I feel like I should not chase them, unless I feel like an absolute, like, oh yes, this even sounds amazing, everybody's like, it's not even that a million people are talking about it, it just sounds amazing, then yeah, I can read it. And there's a difference between being inspired by a community while being consumed by it. And honestly, just slowing down just helps. Reading fewer books and actually remembering, because first of all, I have a memory of a goldfish. If you see my reading wrap-ups most of the time, I'm like, I enjoyed them. Like, I maybe say a few sentences. If I really enjoyed them or really hated them, I might remember something. But it's just slowing down and just trying to remember sections, taking notes, annotate, letting the story sit with me before I just jump into the next book are just so important. Because quality over quantity is not just a saying that people say, just to make themselves feel superior. It is a real thing where you have to, like, it's trying to get yourself to love books again, like, just doing things for yourself. So yeah, that's what's been on my mind lately. The FOMO, the numbers, the consumerism, the burnouts, and they can all pile up and make reading feel like a job and not like a hobby. But it doesn't have to stay that way, because at the end of the day, reading is something of your own. Yes, we have a community full of beautiful people that talk about books and bring a community together. But at the end of the day, reading is your hobby. You can read the genres you want. You can read as fast or as slow as you want. If you don't feel like reading what everybody's reading, don't read it. Take your time. You can read it in a few months' time when you are in the mood for it. The book will always be there. It will never disappear. I promise you, you will find it. So honestly, you decide the pace, the books, and the purpose for it. The algorithm doesn't, the stats don't, the trends don't. Reading should make you feel calm, or, reading can always sometimes be stressful, you know, where there's a fight scene and you feel like your character's gonna die. It is gonna be stressful, but, like, it shouldn't be stressful in the way that, oh, I feel like I have to read this book. No, it should be stressful by what the author's putting you through. Okay? And honestly now, guys, I want to hear your thoughts on this chat, because I've been blabbing on to you guys for, I don't even know how long, probably half an hour to an hour. I don't know if my camera's working at this point, but I want to hear your thoughts. Do you guys struggle with any of this? Whether you make content or not, maybe you relate to any of these, or are you like, Romy, you need to stop blabbing. You are so wrong about everything. You're just being hypocritical, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, anyways, drop a comment, start a conversation, and let's remind each other why we started reading at the start of the day. Whether it was a video, whether it was your childhood, whether it was just a random book that you picked up one day and you started loving. So yeah, at its core, reading is just the most beautiful and the most personal thing. It's something of your own, and we deserve to keep it that way. So yeah, Bookwormies, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!